What's up, y'all? It's RJ with another edition of the Bass Swagger Chronicles. Basically, this video will be dealing with exclusively, well, not exclusively, but primarily with the bass line that's found in Jaheim's hit song, Not Leaving Without You. The bass line that's found in that song by Jaheim is so catchy. Just to give a little history on the bass line and to add to how notable it is, how catchy it is. You know, doing research, I found that Fat Larry's band covered it, a song called Act Like You Know. Perhaps before that, though, a band called The Whatnots, W-H-A-T-N-A-U-T. The Whatnots, they may have been the first ones to use that bass line. And this is a shout out to my dad for bringing to my attention that I need to highlight the minor sixth. That minor sixth note gets an octave played on it just about every time on the Whatnots version and Jaheim's version. I'm going to play it. First, we're going to get some drums here. First of all, we're in the key of F minor. Okay, and we're going to pay attention to the intervals because, as I mentioned earlier, that minor sixth, it gets that octave. You also find that minor sixth right here. So as you hear the bass line, here's where the octave comes in on that minor sixth. It goes right there. So once you get that, it's another octave in there too. The bass player does it, I think, on the one chord of the F minor, which is the F. I think he goes. He may also do it on the 4 chord of the F. On that A sharp, he, I believe, may be hitting an octave there too at times or one time. So if we were going to hit the octaves on all of those chords, this is what it would sound like. All right, so let's analyze what's going on here. As we said, we're in F. We're going to take a moment to stress that it's important to know the scales in all of the various patterns that they come in. Meaning, in order to traverse the whole neck of the bass, I have to know where the notes of the particular scale, the particular key and scale that I'm in, where to get to those notes. So this is F right here. So is F here. F is here. Right there. So if I'm in F and all I've practiced is the scale going this way, that's going to limit me. Why? Because sometimes I may need to go this way. So do I know the scale going this way? For an example, if you were in the F Dorian mode, which also has a minor type of tonality to it, it's a very nice scale. It's a nice sound, and it's a nice technique when you can run it, like this. That's real nice. This microphone's in my way too. Sorry about that. So it's kind of jamming me up here on my right side. And I play the Dorian going this way. So this is what it would be like going this way. So once I start learning the different patterns, how to get to the scale of the tonic, all of the notes in that scale, then I start seeing all of the connections, the way the fretboard is laid out, how to connect when I'm in one area and I want to get to another area. I should be able to connect this F minor chord from here all the way to here. I should find a way between here and here to connect those notes without missing a beat. So just wanted to illustrate that, because we are, in this instance, going to show two ways to play this Jaheim bass line. And one way, you're going to choose one way or the other. The easiest way would probably be the first way I'm going to show, which is like this. Well, I've already demonstrated it, but it goes like this again. The other way you could play it would be over here. That sounds a little bit, that has a little bit more bass in it, man. I like that. But you're going to see why that might not be the best option, because you're going to have to go like this. And then you're going to have to go back over here. You can use the same minor six for this position or this one. It just seems like this one is a little more work. If you're trying to have economy of motion, you may not like it. You may not like playing it over here. To break it down a little further, I'm starting from the 8th fret for my F on the 3rd string, and then I'm toggling between the F and the E flat to get that first part of the bass line. Then from there, I'm going to go another string. I'm going to go to another string, to the 4th string. I'm going to grab that C. That C. With the drums. Now, from there, easily go over to the B flat. Practice that with a metronome. By the way, there's some slides in here on this bass line, and I forgot there may be another word for it when you're doing this deal. Very good bass player doing that on this song, as well as you might want to check out Ryan Leslie. Ryan Leslie has a great bass player. I don't know if he uses the same bass player on every album, but his the album that he put out with Diamond Girl, there's a song on there called something like I Want to Be Good to You or something like that. And if you listen to that song, the bass player, man, through the whole thing, even though he holds the pocket, he's doing a lot of slides and swerves. And this bass line has that in it too. So we're going to get to that. So you're going to go with the drums. And practice that as slowly as you have to, because once you get the bass line, if you practiced it too fast, you'll know, because when you start playing it in front of an audience, you're going to find that you're not hitting all the notes or winging it, and that somebody's going to still probably give you credit for it, but you're going to know that you could have played it a lot cleaner. And you always want to have your best foot forward, because you never know who's watching and who may want to hire you for a gig if you're inclined to do gigs. Just always do your best. So the way to get this done in public, the best way is to practice it slowly and break it down if you have to, and then it'll all come together when you play it real time. So the next step is going to be we're doing our hammer-ons from, we're going back. We started from F, E flat, C, B flat. We're going to go back, but we're going to go back faster because we're going to do hammer-ons. Hammer-on, if you're not familiar with the term, you play 2 notes, but you only pluck once. So I'm plucking on the B flat, but I'm hitting that C without plucking. Same thing on the E flat to the F. And practice that with your scales too. Your pentatonics, really practice it with those. But ain't all of the scales, practice hammer-ons, even when it's only a half step away. 2 notes, a half step away, whole step away. Even other intervals, practice hammer-ons, pull-offs. That's the -6. Again, with the drums. So, what do we do after we hit that C sharp, that -6 with the octave? Now we got to get back to the original fingering position. So it goes like this. Now we're going to do hammer-ons from the E flat to the F to the G sharp to the A sharp. Again. Now we're going to go ahead and finish this out because you got it now. You're probably ahead of me right now. But in a lot of your pentatonic type runs and your blues guitar, blues bassist, your rock guitar, you get this kind of phrase right here. So you're going. Back to the 1. Don't forget that. It's one of those bass lines where pretty much you want to play it the same way through the whole song. I'm going to deviate a little bit on the bass line. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as, people are not looking at you like, why are you playing it? You listen to the Whatnots version of it. The bass player at the end does some subtle things in there that you may want to do. Nothing wrong with that, as long as it's in time, and it's not taking away from the pocket. It's time for the extra credit segment. Practicing all of the modes and scales are very important. I have a great book here on scales and modes. I don't know if it will be allowed on YouTube for me to tell you what the name of this book is. But if you've been investing your money on books and DVDs, that's great. But if you're like me, you've found that some of them are helpful to a point in that they'll say, well, here's the C major scale. And then they'll say, well, here's the same scale in D. All right, let's see how it looks in E. And it's like it's the same scale, man. You're just moving it around. But you know, you need a little bit more than that. You pay your money, and when you go home, on the way home, if you're like me, you're like, man, this is the DVD. This is the book that's gonna skyrocket my playing, man. All I gotta do is sit down with this thing an hour a day, and I'm gonna be, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna be on the next level. And that's really cool, except sometimes we get home and we find that it's just, here is the C major scale, and here it is in another key, and here it is in another key. It's the same thing, it's the same pattern. So since we're learning patterns, why not learn all the patterns of the major scale, all the patterns of the minor scale, of the Dorian, of the Mixolydian, the Phrygian, so on and so on. And then throw in some of these scales that we may normally not really play. Like, this book has, I'm just going to tell you what I've been practicing the last few days, and I'm really hyped about it. The half step, whole step, diminished scale, the whole step, half step, diminished scale, the augmented scales, and it goes on and on. Whole tone scales, chromatic scales. Victor Wooten, another source also that I read, talked about chromatic scales. When we practice those chromatic scales, it gets us out of the fear of playing wrong notes, because there are no wrong notes. Victor Wooten said, you know, you're always a half step away from the correct notes. So when we get used to these different type of scales, even though we may not incorporate them in our day-to-day music that we play with our band or whatever, it still exercises the brain, the fingers, and it helps us think and play outside of the box. We start seeing and hearing things differently on that fretboard, which is very important, because unlike myself, you don't want to be stuck playing in one position for years at a time, and you're afraid during that song, even though you want to, you're on stage, maybe you're getting paid for this gig, and you know you don't want to mess up, but you also have something that's making you want to move out of there from these 4 frets that you're playing, but you're afraid to do it. We don't want to be afraid of that. We want to move around. We don't want to get stuck with just playing our favorite songs. That's great to develop the ear to say, hey, that's what this bass player is doing. I know what scale he's using or whatever. That's great. But go beyond that and experiment with all these scales. On YouTube by a bass player. On YouTube, he's Hollywood 526. I believe it's Hollywood's 526. If not, try Hollywood 576. But anyway, like myself, he plays the Carvin Bass. He plays the SB5000. I play the SB4000. He has a great clip on there. He's doing I think he calls it a sound check or something like that, killer tone. But he's playing the SB5000. And if you want to see how to use some pentatonics in a real funky way, check that video out. This has been Bass Swagger Chronicles. Until the next time, I'm RJ.